Hello everyone, I am back and I'm bringing you my review of chapter 1154 of One Piece, Can't Even Die. And as is tradition with One Piece, we've got a nice cover image. Well, we haven't done a cover image, sorry, that's not a traditional thing, but we do have the cover story. We've got a continuation of Child Yamato's Golden Harvest. It's been dragging on a bit, but you know, it serves as a bit of an epilogue to the whole Wano arc, so it's good to see what's happening. And my phone just made a noise for some reason. Oh, it's alerting me about the football match that is starting shortly. But anyway, we continue on with Yamato paying respect to the grave of a hero born in the West Blue and raised in Ringo. I actually have no idea who that is. If anyone knows who that is, please let me know. I don't know if that's meant to be like Izo or whatever, but it's someone. Who knows? And it's very snowy. So anyway, we're continuing with the Harold / Elbaf backstory, and right now we are 63 years ago. So I don't know why Oda does this. It's a very One Piece thing to drop like huge lore and just do it so casually. But they mention, just in passing, that this is the little bit of nugget of information about Chief Jarul's death. The ruling partner of Chief Jarul and Jarul, so confusing. But the Chief Jarul we've already been introduced to, the old man. His partner, Chief Jorul, was killed by a little girl. No big shocker for who that is. Yeah, it's Big Mum. This is assumedly the incident where she becomes hated by the entirety of Elbaf, and she seems to have done it on one of her little hunger rages or whatever. And shortly after, that very same year, Elbaf was beset by natural disasters, famine, the whole place was on the brink of starvation. So, you know, from bad to worse. But yeah, it looks like the Queen is still blaming baby Loki for all the disasters that are befalling Elbaf. I've forgotten her name. Who cares about her? She's annoying, stupid bitch. Let's call her stupid bitch until like her name appears again or something. But yeah, the guard even tries to tell her it's surely a coincidence, and she just sort of she looks possessed here. Like her neck cracks, and is like, there's Loki looking for his mother's attention, but she just totally rejects him again. And yeah, he's just left in tears. Like, poor little guy. What the hell? So, as is if confirmation from the previous page, the whole of Elbaf is struggling. Everyone is starving. Someone suggests raiding the humans, but apparently that's all talk, and they don't actually do that. But according to the middle panels, they certainly raid each other, and the bottom panel seems to just assert this all, that they are having massive civil wars over food, the food shortages, so they are squabbling amongst the limited resources. And as we can see, and we can see where this is going, one of the giants says, "From what I heard, the prince at the castle," and yeah, we know where this is going. Yeah, he calls Loki accursed. So all these rumors of Loki being an accursed prince, it does seem like he's probably not to blame, and he's just getting a lot of blame for a lot of stuff that he didn't actually do. And it also seems that this hatred that's growing in their hearts is spreading to Hadruden. They are seeing him as the brother of Loki. Even one here suggests that he must be sacrificed. But Ida, his mother, steps up and protects him, saying he's sweet, he's cute, etc. And the guy then turns his wrath to Ida and starts insulting her, which also Hadruden isn't happy about. Says, "Don't touch my mum," and looks like he's going for a strike. Also, point out, I remembered Ida's name straight away. Talking about, I don't remember stupid bitch's name because she's annoying and no one likes her, and everyone loves Ida, and we remember her name. But it turns out I read the page wrong. It wasn't Hadruden doing the striking, it was Harold. Harold appeared and defended his love. We know Ida was his love, and his illegitimate son, Hadruden. Hadruden's happy and crying, so is Ida, goes for the hug, and he's just frustrated that they're all turning on each other. So it turns out when Harold learned of Loki's birth and also of Elbaf's starvation, he went out and sought aid from his human friends that he'd made among the world, and they gave aid freely, supplying Elbaf with shiploads, boatloads of food, enough to solve the starvation problem. Even, it's actually quite impressive considering, the size difference that they've managed to provide so much food for them. But Elbaf is saved by human generosity, and Harold declares, I think quite ominously, that when they need help in turn, they should give this aid freely. I wonder if it'll come to play. So Estrid passed away. That's her name, stupid bitch. So I'll call her Estrid now. But that's her name, Estrid. Estrid passed away. Hooray! Shortly before Harold's return. And of course everyone blamed this curse Loki brought on that she's been spreading. But I love this middle shot of just like Loki holding Harold. Got their names mixed up. Harold holding Loki aloft. But also we see at the bottom here that they lie about the issue with his bandaged eyes, saying he got an affliction, and he kind of puts down Loki's lack of smiling to losing his mother. But as we get from the narration, Loki, with all his mistreatment, has given up on the any hope for love. That's sad. That's unfortunate. But he's been treated like shit. So what can we expect? So anyway, thanks to the humans, Elbaf and the giants survived the long winter, and Harold he's busy. He's gonna set out to rebuild Elbaf and keep establishing diplomatic ties with other nations. But unfortunately, and I think this is quite ominous and it's going to end up badly for Loki, he has to be put in the care of Estrid's brother, Estrid's older brother. So what are the odds he's going to mistreat Loki as well? I think pretty highly. But we're not going to see more of that yet. We're going to see what Ida and Hedruden are up to, and it turns out they live in the underworld right now. It's established as not quite the underworld. They live on a little island that's separated from the underworld in a place that she's calling Ida's Bar, where she will happily serve people who are cast away, lost pirates, etc. So they're living their best life, I guess. So anyway, we're jumping forward in the flashback now. We're only 56 years ago at Jarul's home, where he and Harold are having a conversation. Apparently, Harold snuck into the reverie as a soldier, but they wouldn't hear him out, and he was lucky that he wasn't imprisoned or put in chains, because at the same time, a murder happened. But they don't delve on that. Jarul brings up the Galela Band, a group of mythical giants, some ancient giants, who were craftsmen, shipwrights, hammer-wielding shipwrights. That Harold thought they were a myth, but Jarul ascertains that they in fact were real, and for some reason sent a letter back to Elbaf. Does it say the year? No, it doesn't say, but it's old enough for Jarul to be aware of, but not Harold. They sent a letter back to Elbaf that they'd been imprisoned, and he finds it peculiar that someone was able to imprison 100-strong group of giants, some of which apparently had ancient blood. And also, I will point out, I've seen people discussing this online, that they're curiously Galela, which sounds similarly to Galila from the Water 7 arc. Are they related? We're not going to find out yet, but it's certainly an interesting theory. So they discuss this whole imprisoned giants scenario, and we've got Harold suggesting that the world government might have done it, but it's Jarul saying it's clear that they clearly had a great enemy at some point in the distant past, and that all that history sunk under the sea one day. Interesting choice of words, because sinking under the sea could mean it could be part of the Void Century. But, that's as far as they're going to go. And Jarul says his point of raising that is that his failure to win the people at the Reverie over is that it might not be his fault. And Harold implies from this that it might be some ancient enmity. So there might be some negative history between Elbaf and the world government / the world nobles / the 20 kings, whatever. and they also, as if we're not getting enough lore as it is, they talk about some ancient army of giants put on ice and hidden somewhere. I mean, that's a name drop, if anything. And that they talk about how Elbaf has historically been a threat to the rest of the world. Of course, a land of giants would be seen as a threat. Oh, and when I was discussing about how Estrid's older brother might be a jerk to Loki, look at this final panel on the page. Oh, Prince Loki, killer of my beloved sister. Yeah, this is gonna go well. We get a quick aging montage for Loki, where first we've got Estrid's older brother mistreating him, telling him that he'll feed him rotten scraps, of course, because it was obvious he was going to mistreat him. But then, as he's aging, things negative things keep happening. First, the lucky horse is dead, and then the regent has been found dead in the underworld. I assume by regent they're referring to Estrid's older brother. We've got Loki smiling about that, so I don't know if he's involved at all, or if he's just happy that a jerk is no more. Meanwhile, while that's all been happening with Loki, it looks like that's happened over 8 years, because it's now 48 years ago. Harold has built 8 branch routes in Elbaf, and we see a little map of the branches. I don't know how he managed that, but whatever. He's connected all of Elbaf villages together, so the war, the fighting is over. And there's now vibrant trade between the villages, so Elbaf appears to be thriving. And his next plan is to unite to every country outside of Elbaf, and even have giants living amongst human civilizations. So, as we see, Harold is very much the loved king that we heard about, and well, apparently Hadruden's getting a bit of the Loki treatment now. He's being asked why he's smiling when he's just a bastard son, and Loki's the only true prince. So it looks like it's switched from Loki being mistreated to Hadruden getting the end of the poor end of the stick. Poor guy. But it turns out that when Harold goes on one of his diplomatic adventures, something happens. Everyone needs to bolt their doors and bring their children indoors. And it's apparent, and the reason for that is Loki and his crew go on a rampage. He is firmly of the opinion that the strong must subdue the weak. And as people are running from him, someone appears to stand their ground in front of him. I'm assuming it's Hadruden, but let's see. So we get some more of Loki being a jerk, treating Hadruden like crap, insulting him, saying you shouldn't call him a prince. But it turns out all this destruction, all this name calling is just a bravado for his internal struggles, his internal torments. And we see he apparently routinely tries to kill himself by throwing himself into the underworld, and it's just too durable that he can't even succeed in that. So it seems like he is living the most tormented life of all. But we finish off with some crazy stuff here, where a mountain gets the top of a mountain gets sliced. Not even sure what that is meant to be. I thought at first maybe it's Gaban, because he has the epitaph of Mountain Eater. But then we see a group of people approaching Loki, and it turns out it's the Rock Pirates. The Rock's Pirates, and I think that's Shinky, right? And then there's Whitebeard, or Newgate as he's known at the time. And then we also see in the middle there's what's her name? Stussy. She's there as well. And they just drop in big writing here, the Roxy Xebec, future captain of the Rock Pirates, they're not Rock Pirates yet, and father of Blackbeard. Just dropping that. Just like no build up, nothing. Just, oh yeah, he's the father of Blackbeard. Just like how they randomly drop the lore about, Big Mum killing Chief Jarul earlier. We just got that. And also that Xebec was at the reverie, and that's how Harold got away scot-free, because Xebec is the murderer. He just killed an admiral. Again, just dropping stuff like that like it's nothing. It's insane. And what an ending. What a way to end it. Crazy. So I had a little theory of my own, though. So he's the father of Blackbeard. And, in the modern story, he is dead at this point. So what if this comes into play? What if, considering Loki admired the Rocks pirates so much, what if he finds out about Blackbeard being Xebec's son and decides to ally with him? Maybe, Luffy stands against Blackbeard and Loki sides with Blackbeard. Something like that I think could happen. Or maybe he'll have his loyalty tested and ultimately side with Luffy. I don't know. I think something like that will come into play. What do you guys think, though? Do you think something like that would happen? Do you think Xebec's past will still come into play, even though he's long gone at this point? I'd love to hear your opinions, but otherwise, I will see you in the next one. I'll hopefully get both the chapters I'm late on, this one and the next one, uploaded today. But that's my one for 11:54. I'll see you in 11:55. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.